Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Iblives. Each week we're here talking about the wrestling headlines and covering everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via MayhemNews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and keep up with wrestling news and our show. Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast for 8/19/2014. I am the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Iblives. Got some stuff to talk about. Sorry, the shows have kind of been spread out. So we're trying to get back to a regular schedule. Everybody knows this, that Lesnar just beat Cena. Didn't see that coming. Actually, I did. I was being sarcastic. But anyway, they pulled him along. They've kept Ross Lesnar at the end of this chain with this piece of, meat at the end of it. Woo, the championship, woo. Well, eventually that's going to run out, and he's going to tell them to go to hell, and he's going to leave. So they let him win. Now, what are their plans? They've already kind of accidentally leaked a thing that Cena would take on Lesnar again at Night of Champions. Are they just building Lesnar up to move on to somebody else? Is Cena just going to say, well, I'm going to do, I've heard rumors of a new championship possibly, and like I said, rumors. That's all you'll hear from me until I hear something positive or concrete. They're going to have to do something because, WWE tends to forget that we've seen this before. Lesnar and Cena have fought before. The difference was that this was a brutal match. It set Lesnar up as a beast, but it also set Cena up to take a beating and say, I'm still here, to not just quit and walk away. So I don't know what's going on there. Rey Mysterio was apparently forced to continue his contract with WWE, who he had let WWE know that he was really not interested in continuing the contract. But because he had missed so much for an injury, they took it upon themselves to use a clause which allowed them to extend his contract for one more year for him to make up with media appearances and stuff, the stuff that he lost in ring. Rey Mysterio knew what was in the contract. He knew that was a possibility. I would kind of think if I was Rey, I would kind of say, well, maybe they appreciate me a little more than I thought. But then again, maybe they're just doing it to piss me off and not so I wouldn't show up on AAA Wrestling in Mexico with Del Rio. As you know, there's still this gray area. They really don't know, is this a real? Is there going to be a lawsuit like Del Rio says? Or is it actually a swerve? There's been a lot of people saying that because they announced that he had been fired and did not use his real name, that maybe it was a swerve. So only time will tell. It would be one of the biggest swerves that WWE has tried to do in the last 4 years. So, and a pretty sensitive one too when you're talking about apparently somebody in the WWE.com employee made a comment that Del Rio took an offense, said it was racial, and I don't know. So we'll just have to see. They did actually add Rey Mysterio and Del Rio to the AAA, the AAA pay-per-view. They put them on video, but now they did not wrestle. WWE's contract does not cover video footage, so kind of let that slip through the cracks, didn't you, there at Triple H? Anyway, Nikki Bella's heel turn. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, we saw it coming. Yeah, they've been talking about it forever. It was not a big secret that more than likely one of the Bella twins was going to go bad, going to turn heel. Now, here's a question. Who is Nikki dating? She's dating John Cena. Now, will Nikki's heel turn, or is Nikki's heel turn a opening for them to turn John Cena heel to a point and allow them to be the evil, similar to Ziggler and AJ Lee? I think it would have a bigger impact if he was heel with someone else. Well, all the little kids would be like, well, he went that way because his girlfriend, seriously, had to give a little shout out to Alex James there. But now that's another question. Will Cena turn heel? I just don't know. I really don't know if WWE is willing to risk all those 5 to 10-year-olds that love Cena to death, losing them as customers, and some 28-year-olds. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, but will he turn heel? He's been heel before, and he's very good at it. I don't know why they went so long without him being a bad guy. I mean, I can't believe they've stretched it out this long. It's almost as bad as when they let Goldberg be undefeated in WCW for so long. You can't say that he's that nice. I mean, Total Divas has showed us that he's weird. So why not? I just realized my eyes are really evil with the reflection of the TV. Anyway, sorry. Got off track there for a minute. All right. Sting talked about a meeting that he had. He did an interview with a meeting he had with Vince McMahon. Now, the difference between this time and Sting is he actually went to Connecticut and met at the WWE headquarters with Vince McMahon face to face. Now, not Triple H. He met with Vince McMahon. This was the first time they had ever met. They had talked on the phone, but never, and via email, but excuse me, they had never met face to face. This is a big deal, okay? And the idea that he's not meeting with Triple H, now I want you to think about that. Triple H is supposed to be the one handling talent acquisition, but yet he's talking to Vince. So I have a feeling that Vinnie Mac said, hey, I've been wanting this guy since when you were still in the ring. You used to do the little curtsy thing, and when I was trying to get this guy to come to WWE, I'm handling it. And Triple H might have agreed. Yeah, I think that's who you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's cool. I'll deal with the next guys, and you deal with. He was very positive. He was very positive about his experience at WWE. He said they were a top-notch, A+ group. Everyone was professional. He said, I did not at one time get confused or did not know what I was supposed to do. Apparently, that was a shout out for TNA. And he said, I knew exactly where I was supposed to be. I knew exactly where everybody was coming from. He did say that he met Triple H, but he did talk most of the talking with Vince McMahon. And we're going to talk about some of that down the road. Kurt Angle has apparently called Triple H. This was from a pretty good source. And Vince McMahon talking about a return. And with this new guy that they're talking, that's an Olympian, going to try his hat at WWE. Could be interesting. 2 former Olympic gold medalists. I don't know if the other guy's a gold medalist. I know he was an Olympic wrestler. 2 guys, that would be rather interesting. And then again, it could be rather boring. Because if you don't watch wrestling, the actual Olympic wrestling, it is nothing like what you watch on TV. So, it could be interesting. It really could. Here's a question. A world without TNA. Now, we all know the rumors. We all know that Spike has said they weren't going to continue their TV contract. However, they're still saying they're in negotiations. Well, on one hand, you're saying, okay, they're not going to continue it. Well, if you're not going to continue it, what does negotiations have to do with that? And a lot of people are saying, and David Hero is the main one I've heard say this, is that they're trying to do it where TNA will not have a problem finding a place. Apparently, Spike TV is not upset at TNA or Impact Wrestling says hello. Apparently, they don't mind them. They just don't want to continue their contract. So here's some questions related to that topic. What will TNA talent do if they close? Now, there's going to be a lot of people that will probably go on to be in WWE, but it's going to take some time. There are some people that work at TNA right now that will probably never step back into a WWE ring, and that will be WWE's choice. So this will actually benefit the many indie promotions and people like Ring of Honor and those that are still on TV, but not on this big a scale. And then here's, will it hurt? Will it hurt TNA, WWE if TNA is no longer there? If they have nobody that they are competing against, will it do similar to what happened when WCW closed? And Vince McMahon realized this, which is why the story with, I think they continued with Shane buying WCW and who will go to WWE from the TNA roster? If TNA were to close tomorrow, who would be a sure, that we could actually put our hand on our chest and say we the people that, and guarantee that they were going? I would say people like the Bobby Roode. I would say some of the guys that have stuck out over the years. James Storm. I'm pretty sure Devon would go, but there's a lot of people saying that people in the WWE locker room and people in creative do not like Bully Ray. Of course, as we know, that's a rumor. That is not nothing. They kept him there for years, so why would it be any different? Now, there is rumors that Bully Ray has actually said he is through with TNA, that he will no longer be back, that he is done, and he is washing his hands of the company, which, that's kind of a big thing because he was a pretty big thing. I have a feeling people like Abyss and those guys, I think they would be pretty much guaranteed a WWE contract. My concern with Abyss is would Vince McMahon leave his character alone? I kind of like the Joseph Parks thing. If they could introduce him as Joseph Parks and use the old Mick Foley, let Mick Foley come in and do a little, hey, you know how we used to do in TNA? Well, you're going to have two personalities. I think that would work out. But I think there would be a lot of people that would go to WWE, but then there are some people who have basically torched bridges that will no longer be there. I have a feeling the Hardy Boys will be going somewhere else. Says hello again. All right. Like I said, Sting made some very positive comments about his visit with WWE. He also mentioned some very positive stuff about Bray Wyatt. He said he's been really watching the show. He said, because I'm going to be honest, I've been wrestling for 30 years. He said, but I haven't watched that much wrestling. He said, because I was always on the road. When am I going to watch it? Now I've got the time to sit down and watch this wrestling. And he said, I'm really liking Bray Wyatt. I like his character. I like his moves in the ring. And he said, if I were to have someone, if we weren't going to do the Undertaker, or if we had already done the Undertaker, Bray Wyatt would be someone I would be interested in being in the ring with. So that's a pretty big slap on the back for Bray Wyatt, for someone with over 30 years of experience to say, hey, that guy's cool. He was asked what he thought the fans in WWE thought of him, and he said when he went up there to do the little thing about the video game, he said apparently there are a lot of fans in WWE actually know who I am. He said I did not know what to expect. He said there were Sting signs everywhere, and he said the more Raws I watch, the more Sting signs there are. The more Sting masks, people are digging their old WCW mask out, and I believe you can actually still buy those pretty often. Now, we all know, if you've watched this show, you knew that I did not buy WWE 2014 or 2K14, mainly because of the way they did Roddy Piper, and some other ones. Now, the question is, will I buy WWE 2K15? Yeah, because it's got Sting in it. If that was the only person that was in there and it was just a random group of other people, wouldn't care. But apparently they have worked out. And then Mick Foley kind of made me not want to buy the second one, the one we just talked about, the 2K14, because he didn't think that they treated the guys right as far as money. The payments that they got for the video game were kind of cheap compared, and he says, not that I'm, but some of these younger guys that are not, doing a comedy show and got books and, don't have bestsellers available are now getting gypped, even though they're in a video game. So he did not sign his Legends contract because of that, and I kind of want to pat him on the back about that for somebody willing to stick up. I'm going to be honest. I tend to watch the shows now on the network. I tend sometimes not to be into it, to watch it when it first comes on. Because right now WWE is not really. If they were a V8, I think they'd be hitting on about 6 cylinders, maybe 4. It's not, it's not really. It's not as interesting, and it's really bad when you can actually watch some of the stuff that Chance Prophet. You hear me talk about him on here a lot. He was one of our second interviews. He was actually the first one on this show. The first interview I ever did was on the webpage. But you can actually catch some of the stuff that Chance Prophet does through Remix Pro and something like that. Their shows don't have all the multi-million-dollar setups, but they put on a better show than WWE right now. I tend to watch some of the older stuff on the network if I want to watch a good wrestling match. They do have some good stuff going on right now in WWE, but it's so few and far between that, they're kind of, and I have a feeling that if they ever let some of the wrestlers do what they need to do and not stop fooling around with this, I know you want to be PG. I know it's that type of world. It's that type of programming. But you've got to do a little more than what you're doing. Got to do a little more. It just can't be as bad as it is now. Especially if I can sit here and halfway through a match tell you what's going to happen before it happens, and I am nothing even close to being psychic, it's really time to do something different. Call me. I'll be glad to. I know some good people, that can set up some good storylines. I'm pretty sure I've seen stuff from fans that would make more sense than some of the crap that we're seeing now on TV. But I think WWE needs to wake up because, I'm still interested, and it's not because I love WWE more than I love anything else, but it's the wrestlers that we follow, and we don't like to see them not used properly. Ziggler is probably one of the best move sellers in the business, and he can cut a damn good promo, but he's sitting in the back while Brock Lesnar, who couldn't cut his way out of a wet paper bag with a promo, is the champ. Now, yes, I give Brock Lesnar a lot of shit because he deserves it. The only positive thing about Brock Lesnar being there is we get to see Paul Heyman on TV.
Who is a genie?
Who is like a genie with the mic. Shout out to Robin Williams, by the way. All right, he is like the genie on Aladdin with that microphone. He can make people know him that had no clue who he was. But the fact that people like Ziggler are sitting back and Brock Lesnar is winning the title doesn't make any sense. Now, here's a question. Who are that? Now, here's what I want to know. He is a part-time wrestler, so who are they setting up to be this person that comes in and beats Brock Lesnar? Hey, I heard Chuck Liddell ain't doing nothing. You really want to see some brown stuff run down his leg? Let Chuck Liddell. Never mind. We won't go there. That's going into UFC. We'll just keep going. But that's pretty much been the show today. I appreciate everyone's patience. We are starting a Mayhem News Live Gaming report again. I'm going to be doing them at random times, just whenever news comes in. Hopefully they will be done weekly. If there's no news, I may just come on here for a couple of minutes and do future games coming out or something. I'm going to try to get my buddy Hunter to help me out. Right now he can't do video, so he may be in the background on the phone, and he may start posting on our webpage. If you don't know, Mayhem News Live is actually a sub-product of mayhem-news.com, and we do have some sponsors. If you will be very kind just to look at our sponsors' banners at the end of the show, and I want to give a shout out to Blast 52, and I know that they've been kind of down. Joey's been kind of sick, and so y'all kind of keep them in their thoughts and prayers. If you want some good music, though, I've also got a banner for them. You can check them out and go. They've got some great music, and you can actually go to their YouTube channel and actually listen to some of the music before you buy, which is really cool. I want to thank Throttle, who gave us our theme music that you hear at the end, first of the show. I appreciate it, and they also do our theme music for the gaming report, which will be out hopefully in the next couple of days. And that's been our show. This has been Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast for 8/19/2014. I am the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Imp Lives, and we are done. Welcome to the Mayhem News Live Wrestling Broadcast with your host, the Man in Black, a.k.a. Team Imp Lives. Each week we're here talking about the wrestling headlines and covering everything from Impact Wrestling to SmackDown. Join us each Tuesday via MayhemNews.com and the Mayhem News Live YouTube channel. You can subscribe to both and keep up with wrestling news and our show.